Southern Saturday, you already know we right here at work decided to hop on top of it with the individual, see what's the talk of the town is going down the word in the curve, you heard me. Let me just move this over here. Oopsie. Alrighty now. Oopsie. You already know we decided to hop on, chop it up with individuals, see what the talk of the town is going down the word on the curve, you heard me. Having some technical difficulties over here. Okay. What's cracking like it, Alex Jones Mom? What's good with you, carnal? How are you doing on this Saturday? Maybe you're messing with my settings. All right, we Gucci. Now, I am going to be dropping a battle rap reaction later on today. Right now, it's finalizing. Well, it's going through the YouTube process, so it should go through. I'm hoping it should go through. Money in the Bank going down right now, is she? That's right. Go subscribe to Total Truckers channel. My boy just enjoying it. That's right. You already know we stuck at work like a slave, though. No queda otra, carnal. But you know what? Definitely watch the recap later on. What's cracking like in Derek? What you getting yourself into, my boy? Busy as hell with school, but no, yeah, it will pay off, bro. And you're going for school for what again? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, Mr. Pasa's definitely up in the casa for the raza. What's good, carnal? Some battle rap reactions coming later on today, you know, and it was with your assistance, so, you know, gracias, my boy. Just getting ready for work. That's right, my boy, getting ready to make the Skrilla Illa. You heard about the ice happening? Yeah, bro. Yesterday, and I don't know about today, but yesterday I seen that it was definitely cracking. Que gacho, no? They raided the callejones? Fucking A. Or like by downtown Los Angeles. Fools were just working hard. But not just the raza, but they even raided some nail spa place, right? And they took a bunch of Asians too. Like they took a good amount of Asians. I would say maybe like a good like 20 Asians that were right there working. Like that's fucked up. So it's not just raza, but it's like other individuals también, other groups. Because that nail spa looked like surprised. They were like, what the fuck? Yeah, they just came and souped them up. I was like, damn, ruthless. Always glad to have it. Hey, gracias, carnal. Master of Social. Masters. Okay, all right. That's right. There was a mean riot out of. Because of the raids? I feel bad for the raza. Or not. It's just like ice tactics. Yeah, bro. It's gacho. It is gacho. It is gacho. But at the same time, I mean, they're just following orders, you know. They're just, I mean, it's their job, you know. So at the same time, like, it's not their fault, you know. When people like are attacking them, like they gotta do their job, you know. They're just following orders, you know. It's the man that gave the orders that people should be, you know, upset with, right? Which they are, right? Because, I mean, you know, Trump's not too fond of. uh, Especially coming from, yeah, I feel you, bro. Yeah, because of the rates. Yeah, está cabrón, bro. Está cabrón. You know, it's one of those tough situations because at the same time, there's nothing that nobody could say or really do, right? Because at the same time, um, you know, it is against the law, right? So they're just doing their jobs and following the law, right? But it's fucked up too, though, you know, because it's like damn, it's scandalous because you know they're fucking up families over here and they're just trying to do their thing, you know. But you know, está cabrón, está cabrón. It's one of those situations where I can see it from obviously the raza's point of view, and I can also see it from the, you know, logical sense of things, right? Because that is against the law, and it's you know they're just following the law and you know doing their job. So it's crazy shit, bro. Crazy shit. because I was seeing, I forgot which channel it was, right, where somebody was talking about like, that that's fucked up, that they shouldn't be doing this or allowed to do this, or how could, I don't understand how some individuals could not be bothered by it. But it's like, well, here we'll say it like this. It's like, if now us being born here, right, but our families are from Mexico, right? So our heritage is from Mexico, but we were born here, so we're American citizens, right? But if we were to now go to Mexico, right, you know, we would we would have to go through the legal process to become a citizen as well, right? Like, we wouldn't just be able to just be, in Mexico and just, doing our thing either, right? They deport people in Mexico too, right? Mexico authorities are always deporting people too, right? So, you would have to go through the legal process to become a Mexican citizen, just like, you have to go through the legal process here in America, right? Because even though you were brought up raza and everything, you wouldn't be able to stay in Mexico, right? If you break the law, you'll get deported. You know what I mean? If you want to get a jale, you would have to get, like, go through the legal process, right? So even Mexico, deports people, right? So we can't even say like, damn, because shit, our own people deport people. So it's just, it's one of those fucked up things, bro. They fucked up. California is built by. No, no. Trust me, I understand that perfectly. Like, yes. As a matter of fact, this was Mexico, right? So, so yes, hardworking Mexicans and everything like that. But at the same time, if they're here illegally, right, then they're here illegally, like, um, because I guess it's not fair, because there is a process, right? So it's not fair to all the ones that are actually doing it the right way or have been waiting in the waiting line, the waiting list, right? And then you get what I mean. But at the same time, these guys aren't criminals or bad people. They're just trying to feed their families, trying to work. You get me? So I can see it from both perspectives. Like, okay, I hear you. You know, because at the same time, I think that they should just let them be, right? Because they're not hurting nobody. They're just trying to feed their families. Like, what the fuck? They're not, fucking doing nothing wrong. But at the same time, it is against the law, right? So what can we say about, what can we say right there? You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations that's like, fuck. Trump is trying to keep his word with raids, even. No, no, no. Here's what it is, though. What Trump is doing right now is a distraction, right? The deportation thing is just a distraction to distract people from the actual real problems, right? The state of our economy, and the rise of inflation and the dysfunction that he has established, right? So by him deporting people, it makes it seem like he's actually doing his job or doing what he said he was going to be doing, right? Like, people see that he's deporting people, so automatically he must be doing everything he said he was going to do, right? When that's not the case. Like, yeah, people are getting deported, but everything else is still, he still hasn't fixed anything else. Like, everything else is still fucked up, right? But he's going to be holding on to this, like, well, I deported the most people, right? But this is going to be his thing to fall on, right? His the shit that he's gonna use to fucking glorify his presidency. You know, this is one thing, but everything else is fucked up though. So people are being distracted by this. The mission, it's all fucked up shit. I think you already hear and pain. These people need to respect it, and I even I'm saying it. The law is gonna have. Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you 100 on that one, right? Yeah, where's your humanity at? Yeah, 1,000, bro. 1,000. You know what I mean? And it doesn't help that you have a lot of bitter people who are just mad at their situation, right? Mad at their living structure, right? And choose to attack these individuals, right? Because they think that they're the source of the problem of their problems, right? Like, they feel like because of all these illegal immigrants being here, that their lives are the way that they are. When it's like, nah, your life's the way it is because of your stupid ass decisions. American is bringing us here. American idea is bringing us here. Poor, what about immigrants from back in the days? Yeah. Well, back in the days, they suffered the same discrimination too, right? Italians, Irish, um, Asians. You know what I mean? You would see signs, no Italians, no Irish, right? But it's because America has always been the blame game, right? It was these Europeans, right? And then it was it was these blacks, and then it was it's these Asians when World War II happened, and then 9/11 it was the Muslims, and now it's the Mexicans' turn, right? But it's always been the blame game. This is nothing new. America's built off of this, America has always been targeting one ethnicity always, bro. Now it's just our turn. But this is not nothing new. What they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's probably why they keep using it. Yes, the law. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you really want to make a difference, if you really want to, set the bar and the standard, right? Burning cars, burning buildings, bombing on these people, throwing Molotov cocktails and all that, it's not gonna fix the problem, right? Like, you would have to fix it by doing it the right way, by actually, setting some bills in motion, some new laws, actually, doing it the right way, right? Um, the actual true way to fix the problem, right? By educating yourself and fighting the problem, the right way, you know. Like people that are right now in these universities that are getting their degrees to be able to come these kind of problems, right, by moving up the ladder to try to make a difference, right, because that's the only way you're truly gonna be able to make a dent or a difference, right? Because by you over there attacking now and burning shit down, you're just proving to these individuals why they need to get you out of here, right? And what's fucked up is when people do that, the ones that are actually suffering is people that are, had nothing to do with the ICE raids or these people getting deported, right? All these small businesses. Did you get the chance? Oh no, I didn't get the chance, bro. We've been busy. Also, did you check out the new? No, I haven't gotten the chance to scope out. We have had so far a lot on our plates as of recently. On a date with the Hyena. That's right, my boy. That's good, carnal. Bismillah. Hey, you got this, carnal. You got this. What are your thoughts on people who get into relationships just for a temporary time? They don't plan on marrying the person. They just be with them to kill time. I mean, you can't really say that they're with somebody to kill time because when you're in a relationship, you truly don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe that was your process in the beginning, right? But then you end up start actually liking this person, right? So, you know, I don't really think that that's an actual thing, right? Yeah, waste all your money, bro. Or money on what? That man of the law needs to evolve. They came here to work hard as fuck, do jobs, no fucking white. Whatever, do they said? No, no, no. Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. It is the white is not the problem in the world. The white is not the problem because you have white individuals that stand with the raza. You have white individuals that are in the struggle alongside everybody else. You have whites who are not. You know what I mean? It's the establishment. The establishment is the problem, not white people. You know. Um, Too many people focus on ethnicities when this is not about ethnicities. This is about the establishment. Um, Ethnicities are just the distractions, right? Because the game has always been the rich against the poor. You feel me? Because a rich white person is not the same as these broke white people, right? They wouldn't even associate or mingle with them, right? Um, so it's the establishment that's the problem, right? It just happens that a majority of the establishment happens to be Caucasian, white, right? But not to say that they're all like that or they're to blame. You get what I mean? Because you'll have rich raza individuals or rich black individuals or rich, that would treat their people like shit and probably even help them deport these individuals out of here, right? It's crazy. Like the law in Texas is banning weed. Like, fuck legal shit is that? Yeah, people's opinion is crazy. They are deporting and raiding the people that have records. People mistaken. No, well, no, that's not the case though. They are though. They have done that right in the beginning. It was like that, but now they're just taking anybody whose legal status is in question, or maybe their work permits, or their visa pass has expired, or whatever the hell, right? So now they're just taking just people. Yes, in the beginning they were just targeting criminals, but now they're just taking like anybody, college kids, high school kids, fucking individuals that are just working hard, right? So in the beginning it was just these, and I could understand, yeah, well, who wouldn't want these murderers or drug dealers or whatever bad people out of here? Yeah, I get it. And let's also keep in mind that it's just not attacking the raza, right? But they're also deporting Europeans, Canadians, Asians, and all of that, right? So not just raza, because this is not a raza problem. It's a problem that's affecting multiple ethnicities, you know, Middle Easterns as well, right? So it's not just raza that has to be worried or panicking. What's your favorite Disney movie? My favorite Disney movie. My favorite Disney movie is fucking Toy Story. Disney? Are they Disney? I don't even know if they're Disney. Yeah, they're Disney for that one. Is Small Soldier Disney? If not, is that one. You got. All we need to do is just stay out of their way, and ICE will leave. you know, it is what it is. I could understand why some individuals would, like, let's say if they're taking your family or whatever the fuck, right? I could understand why they're upset and why they tend to do what they do, right? A lot of emotions are running, so I could understand why maybe some people react the way they react, right? When they're the ones that are being affected, right? Um, but like I said, you're just not going to be able to fix the problem, with you know being violent or you know disruptive. Give it a shout out. What's cracking, like, in my boy, the Mexican G? They causing us taxpayers money. Facts, though. Facts. I have said this in the beginning. Donald Trump. The reason why other presidents haven't deported people like the rate that Donald Trump has been doing it is because the government has a budget, right? So the past presidents understand this, right? So they've been deporting people by the amount that the budget would allow them to deport, right? So they were deporting people. Past presidents were deporting people, just not as many as Donald Trump, right? Like Obama, well, till now, not no more, but before Trump, Obama was actually the president that has deported the most illegals, right? So Trump has beaten that now, but Obama was the one that had been deporting more since then, right? But because of the state of our economy, then, right, the state of the government, so we have a certain amount of money, but see, Trump doesn't work by those rules. He doesn't play by those type normal rules, right? So he's fucking deporting people, and this shit deporting people costs a lot of money, a lot of money. It's not cheap deporting people, right? That's when people are like, how come they haven't been deporting, or how come nobody else has been doing this? Well, how are you gonna pay for it? These motherfuckers ain't gonna work for free. This shit is not free. It's a lot of money. So, right? So it's gonna cost a lot of money that we're gonna have to come up and pay, right? See, but Trump works different. He's like the type that's like, well, let's just do this and we'll worry about the bill later on. Once it gets to that point, then we'll worry, right? Why do you think a lot of government jobs were getting cut? Why do you think more than like fucking 15,000 government officials lost their jobs? Well, yeah, you were gonna have to pay for this somehow. The money was gonna have to come from somehow, right? So they just been fucking stripping, from different places the money, right, in order to pay for this shit. So now these motherfuckers are losing their jobs and they're wondering, like, hey, what the hell's going on? Well, didn't you want these people out of here? What you think, it was gonna be free? Fucking goofballs. You know what I'm saying? Of course, a lot of people are gonna lose their jobs. Of course, fucking the price of shit is gonna go up. We gotta pay for this shit somehow. Like, people, what do people think, that this shit, like, what, that it's gonna pay for itself? You know what I mean? And shit's only gonna get worse, bro. Because, like I said, people don't work for free. You know what I mean? So, it's gonna, people are just fucking so foolish and dumb. It's like they don't think about the big picture, right? It's like, yeah, get these illegals out. Like, okay, we're gonna see now once you start bitching about fucking you losing your job or your hours getting cut and shit like that, right? Well, hey, my boy, remember back then when you were saying all that? Well, here it goes. Because it takes a while for you to start to feel it, right? But you're gonna feel it. You're gonna remember what I said. You ever heard of the syndrome? Is there? No, I haven't, bro. The term often used in no, I didn't know that, bro. Breaking news: Trump is mad at Russia State TV for showing pictures of. It's AI. Putin, what happened? I thought we was homies. Nah, but see, Trump doesn't have any allies, bro. Putin's not his ally either. Trump doesn't have any friends, bro. He only has people that he sees, till they become, useless, right? And then he starts to attack them and throw them under the bus. Trump only cares about himself. I mean, a wealthy Mexican, once he was the owner of a restaurant chain, and this guy would go work for the cook. Oh, shit. He said, what up, potato? Who stay in contact with their ex after they are in a new relationship would be. Yeah, that's never good, bro. That's never good. I thought you were going to say The Lion King? The Lion King? Nah, I thought that shit was boring. 10 likes I did it. Hey, we're glad to have you, carnal. It's all good, my boy. Hey, I appreciate you, carnal. Shout out, Trucha. Oh, what's cracking like a death row? Do you remember the car culture in there? Yeah. I remember when the Fast and the Furious. Yeah, that shit came out. Everything was booming with the cars. That movie had everybody fucking thinking they were Vin Diesel. That was a trucha la migra. Everyone says Trump and Putin are always especially Democrat. Nah, well, they just see the Democrats are just they don't help when they talk like. Yes, Trump is cool with Putin, right? But what people have to understand about Trump is that he's truly not cool with nobody, bro. Like, he's just, he's cool. Like, he befriends people, right? To get whatever he needs to get out of them, right? But if the push was to come to shove, homie, that was throwing everyone under the bus, bro. Everyone's disposable to Trump. He has shown it, time and time and time and time again. Like, oh, where's the evidence? Remember his first term? How many people did he fucking throw under the bus? Right? 1 minute they were his fucking homies, right? Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and then next 2 weeks later, they get fired and he's over there on Twitter talking shit about them, like, oh, they're fucking stupid, or oh, they're dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, that fool's got no loyalty to nobody. Bro, that fool's not even loyal to his two other kids. You get me? That fool's loyal to himself and himself only. That's why when I say that, when people say that he's a racist, he's not a racist, bro. He only cares about himself. He don't care about America or the white people. He only cares about himself, bro. That's it. Nobody else. Not even his kids, homie. Guy only cares about himself, making himself look good and his reputation. You know, he's not down with like nobody like that. Trump's friend is money. Yeah, bro, that's it. You know, whatever makes his status, you know, bigger and you know wealthier. Fool only cares about himself. Bro, that fool not even willing to have his other two kids in pictures with him, bro, because of how they look. That fool don't give a fuck. Just plays the part. Like I said, and I know he plays a part that, like I said, from that one day that he hugged the flag, I already knew this fool was full of shit, bro. This was fucking fooling everybody, you know what I mean? Like, this was just trying too hard, bro. Fit that image. Who throws everyone under the bus, bro. Everybody. It is crazy. Excuse me. I think. As a matter of fact, you know what happened with him and Elon Musk? That's exactly what has happened with him and every other relationship he's had with individuals. You know, before him and Ted Cruz and Ricky Rubio and Mitch McConnell and all of them were homies or whatever. Well, now that they're homies, right? But before then, you know, lying Ted and fucking that Mitch McConnell has a turkey neck, and that fool was talking shit about all them fools, bro. Look at Rick Carl, the guy from Fox 11 News, right? When the FBI did their investigation and they had how he would always defend Trump, right? But they, you know, released the messages, the text messages of how he can't stand Trump, how he fucking hated Trump, that he thought Trump was a fucking idiot, right? But since he didn't want the Democrats to win, right? That's the reason why he fucking hyped that fool up all the damn time. It's like these people's hatred for Democrats is the reason why they fucking push that goofball so much, bro. It's not that they actually like Trump. It's just that they hate the Democrats that much. You know? Because like I said, it's just a power struggle right here that we're having, bro, between these political parties. And Donald Trump's too stupid to even realize it. You know, he's just a pawn in the game as well. I wish I was rich as Trump. That's the only thing. Why would you why would you want to be as rich as Trump though? Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind being rich, right? But would I say that that's what I would hope or wish for? Like, nah. Like, you know, there's other things in life that's more important, right? Because money's really not gonna change any type of problem like that, you know? We all want money. I mean, at least most of us. To me, money's just a necessity. It's not something that is just like even if I had money, like chains and jewelry and you know all that, it's not something that appeals to me, right? Or something that like I desperately want to have, right? All money ain't good money. Facts, bro. You know, because look at a lot of you know rich people who are depressed, bro. A lot of rich people have a lot of problems. Look at Trump, bro. You know, he may look like he's you know he's lovely, right? But that fool's had all kinds of shit, right? And you can tell by his character. Like, bro, people are gonna be celebrating the day you die, and he knows that. Must be a horrible, thought of to have. Not on money. Yeah, you know what? And even like they say, like all publicity is good publicity. No, no, it's not. Not if it's tarnishing your legacy. Imagine you pull up on the Lamborghini to your body after becoming rich from. No, but see, why would I care for that though? Like, if I did pull up in a Lambo, like that wouldn't make me feel good though, right? That's the thing with me. Like, I just wouldn't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I even do that? Like, what does it matter if I pulled up in a Lambo or pulled up in a bucket? Like, like I just don't care for that kind of recognition, right? Like people being like, "Damn, my boy, you made it. That's right." I don't care for that type of like like to be praised or idolized. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm no different than anybody else. Even if I was rich, bro, we all need food and water. We all bleed. You know, same thing that could kill me could kill anybody else. So they don't make me better than other people now because I have money, right? Then, like I said, there's rich people that are lonely, bro, that are just like miserable, right? And then there's poor people that are fucking happy and truly, truly love their lives. They may not be rich, but they got, the things that matter to them, right? Their family, their loved ones. You feel me? And then you could be rich, you could be able to afford anything, right? But you could be miserable. Like a lot of these individuals that commit suicide that are rich. It's crazy. But I could understand why people would have the infatuation with money and materialistic things. So there's consequences for everything. But Obama deported more people than Trump. And Bush put together, but the news never lets us know. But Democrats are the sneakiest of them all. Yeah, I'm one to say that, right? The Republicans are the ones to spit in the taco and hand it to you. The Democrats are the ones to go behind the curtain, spit on the taco, and then hand it to you. At least with the Republicans, you know what you're getting, right? You see what you get, right? It's like two different wings, same bird. You get what I mean? Both sides are fucking crazy and idiotic. Both sides don't care about the people. They just care about themselves and securing their jobs. That's it. And yes, because of misinformation and how people use the media to push their propaganda, Republicans have, Fox News and all that shit. But then, the Democrats have local media, but they're both doing it. They're both pushing propaganda, right? Like when everybody was blaming Trump for the kids in the cages. And it's like, that wasn't Trump, bro. Those kids were in cages when Obama was in office. Obama's the one that had them in cages. And I actually liked Obama, his first term, not his second one, but I actually liked Obama, right? But facts are facts, bro, and truth is truth. He's the one that had them in those cages. It's just that people found out once Trump was in office, right? And then people started blaming Trump because people are so fucking stupid and they don't do their own fucking research, right? And then just believe whatever the fuck they're being told by these fucking mainstream media that are goofballs as well. You like to feel spiritual? It's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys. Out.